Chapter 5, Marine Receiving Dispense Facilities. Unified Facility Criteria UFC 3460, November 10, 2017, Petroleum Fuel System Maintenance, approved for public release distribution, unlimited. Alright, Chapter 5, Marine Receiving Dispense Facilities. Pier and waivers. Pier is the deck structure with the support over the water with the piles on open type with the solid field with the structure of the retained bulkheads, closed with the type of the apron, or a combination of the two with the extent of the outward, with the shore with the harbor, the other navigable with the permit with the berthing, along with the one with the both sides with the length of the wharf deck, structure with the support of the above the water pile with the open type with the solid field, structure retained with the bulkhead, closed with the combination of the two with the runs parallel with the shore with the connectivity is more than one point, but the usually is continuous to provide berthing along one side. Inspection maintenance with the pirate and weir with the UFC 415007 the maintenance operation of the waterfront facilities. Inspection maintenance requirements of the piers and waiver with the 5-2 with the marine receive the issue with the include with the pier, the waiver with the equipment with the petroleum fuel transfer piping, major components, marine receipt issue systems include the marine hoses and marine loading and arming, the fitting of the strain, piping, the strainers, the fuel meters, stripper pumps and ground system. Inspection maintenance with the marine receive the conduct the shoreside inspection with the pier warfare sign with the damage as soon as regularly the main barge of the tanker to disembark frequently after each use. Inspect with the ground switch with the eve between the marine barge of the tanker and the petroleum fuel receipt piping frequently monthly. Inspect mooring line with the cleat with the bollards, pitted bits, and pulley block with the steel wire rope with the winch of the UFC 415008. Inspection mooring hardware as guide with the conducting inspection, repair and replace with the damaged component with required and frequently monthly. Refer to Section 6.1 with the piping testing and inspection with the maintenance with the requirements of petroleum fuel pumps installed with the above the water with the surface with these pipelines, and they were regulated with the Title 33 CFR with the 154 and 156. With the additional requirements are in Title 33 Code Federal Regulation 154 and 156 must also be filed. For Section 551 for the marine transfer hose for the inspection maintenance with the requirements of the petroleum fuel marine houses. Refer to Section 5.4 marine loading hose for the inspection maintenance with the requirements of the petroleum fuel marine loading arms. Refer to Section 364 with the basket strain with inspection maintenance requirement with the basket strain with the refer to Section 3.7 the meters inspection maintenance requirements of the petroleum fuel meters. Refer to Section 3.8.2 with the positive displacement pump with the inspection maintenance requirement of the stripper pipes, pumps, and refer to Section 916 for the grounding system section maintenance with requirements for the grounding system. Your marine issue, the marine petroleum fuel issue system with the issue with the transfer of the petroleum fuel from shore with the storage system with the marine barrage and tankers. Inspection maintenance marine issue with the component of the petroleum fuel issue with the system including piping the basket with the strain with the pump with the measure for the marine hoses, marine loading arm with the stripper pipes, and with the grounding system. Inspect with the pier war with the signs of the damage as soon as the marine barger and tanker disembark. Frequency after each U with the inspect with the ground switch U with the between the marine barge and the tanker with the petroleum fuel issue pumping the frequency monthly. Inspecting in the morning line, cleaning in the board with the pits of the billets of the pulley block with the steel wire ropes of the and winches. UFC 15008 with the inspecting morning hardware with the guide with the conducting inspection repair and play with the damage component with the required frequently monthly. Refer to Section 6.1 with the piping testing inspection for the maintenance requirements of the petroleum fuel pump installed above the water with the surface of the pipelines regulated with the Title 39 154 Code Federal Regulation 154 156. Any of the additional requirement of Title 33 Code Federal Regulation 154 156 must also be filed. For Section 364 with the basket strainer inspection for the maintenance requirement of the basket strainer, for 3.8 for the pump for the inspection maintenance with the requirements of the marine loading of the stripper pumps, for 3.7 for the inspection maintenance requirement of the petroleum fuel meters, 5.5.1 for the marine transfer hose for the inspection maintenance with the requirements of the petroleum fuel marine hoses and refer to Section 5.4 with the marine loading arms with the inspection maintenance with the requirements of the petroleum fuel marine loading arms. Refer to Section 916 for the grounding system inspection maintenance with the requirements of the grounding system. Marine loading arms due for the connecting the shore for the base of the petroleum fuel receive the issue of the system and the marine barge for the tanker. Swiveling and swinging joint with attaching with the arm or the supply piping with the source of the leaf, especially with the arm is subject to the stress attached to the vessel, the program of the periodic lubrication inspection, ensure the long swivel the life of the sweep. The seal leaks in spite of the lubrication seal with the replacement complete with the refurbishment with the swivel that may be required with the reason with the recurring failures should be identified. No lubricated swivel that should not be lubricated with the common cause of the failure. Inadequate support of the arm, the fully stock case available to complete with the seal with the joint renewal with the non-lubricated type of the swivel that must be refurbished and replaced with original equipment. Manufacturer additional information pertaining to the loading arms can be found with the UFC 34601 of the Section 581. Inspection maintenance for the marine loading arms. The signs of leaking of the lubricating grease contaminated with the fuel and clear signs of the swivel joint with the failure of the refer to the manufacturer operation made with the manual, the specific maintenance procedure schedule follow the applicable the general maintenance requirement. The click check with the swivel, the smooth operation check with the seal of the sign of of where a discolorization may indicate the seal of the ball bearing failure frequency quarterly. Inspect ball bearings successfully, rough and uneven wear with the surface with the indication of civil the joint failure frequency annually. Conduct pressure tests for marine loading arms in accordance with the Title 33 CFR 156-170 equipment test and inspection section 5.1 and frequency annually. Marine and underwater hoses, marine transfer hoses, some case floating hoses are usually attached with the twin on the shore base of the facility, marine barges and tankers. Flotation buoyancy, typically with a petroleum fuel hosing string with a component of the also could be externally attached to the hose string with a made by up to 30 to 40 feet of the long section. Individual hose, the length of the bolted together with the steel flange of the bill under the end of each of the floating hose. Each of the hose connections should be drained with the connection marine barge with the tanker side of the block valve with the floating petrol flow. Fuel hose diameters are standard out of the corners of the oil company with the International Marine Forum and best practice for the range for the 6-inch for the DN 150 with the maximum 24 hours DN 600 internal diameter of the housing string with the length of the determined the morning. The equipment of the marine barge with the tanker side of the manifold location. Floating petroleum fuel hose string that typically end with the blind flange that must be removed with the marine barge or tanker car. Tanker crew before petroleum fuel hose can be connected with the marine barge or tanker. The floating petroleum fuel hose. The string include pickup line with attached with the marine barge with the tanker and with the petroleum fuel hose with the pickup line. The U with the bring of the petroleum fuel hose onto the marine barge with the tanker with the connect with the marker buoy, which makes the free end of the petroleum fuel hose pickup easier to locate. Alright, 551. Inspection made with the marine transfer hose. Visually inspect with the petroleum fuel marine transfer hose. The transfer hose must be no loose with the cover. King bolts the soft spot with the non-gouge with the cup with the slash with the penetrate with the hose of the reinforcement hoses must also have no external deterioration frequency before each use. Visually survey with the petroleum fuel marine hose with observe the general condition of liquid. Look for fluid puddles with a fine mist with the physical damage of the jacket, vibration, deformation, deteriorated joints. Use the sense of the smell to detect the petroleum vapor. Look for improper hose handling with the overstrap of the hosing, stretching with the relief of the movement of the kinking frequency during each use. Refer to Appendix D of the Section D22 for the marine underwater transfer hose hydrostatic type of the transfer of the hose hydrostatic tire requests and frequent procedures. Frequently handling less than 30 days prior to the fuel file transfer of the conduct of the past 1 year for the day of the last test inspection. 552. Underwater hose. Underwater petroleum fuel hose with the similar construction of the petroleum fuel marine. The transfer hose must have the additional shafting gear with the covering with some of the section external reinforcements of that may also be added to prevent the kinking due to the tidal motion with which are the use of the petroleum fuel transfer. So for the offshore moorings, experience has shown that some of the section underwater hoses consistently wear more than others. Hose life can be extended with the periodically change with the position individual section with the hose string. Then shift the proper stainless steel bows with the manual nuts are even to reassemble the string. Inspection maintenance underwater hose. It is recommended with the equipment to be able to lift up with the buoys, anchors, chain of the offshore mooring equipment. The effort with the main with the schedule of the hose inspection test concurrently, regardless of the duration, since they last step while working on the mooring system can cover the additional straining and wear on the hoses. Refer to Appendix D with the Section D22 with the marine underwater hose transfer hydrostatic test. The underwater hose hydrostatic test requirements procedure for the frequency annually, not less than 30 days prior to the file of the transfer with first transfer conducted past 1 year of the day of the last test inspection. Dispensers. Dispenser system located with the marine facility, similarly with the military service station, typically with the type of dispensers typically include hose reel with the refuel various types of watercraft. The hoses routinely pulled up pulled across the concrete with the abrasive surface so they can cover the damage to the hose. Automatic nozzle shut-off clips must be removed with the marine fuel hose dispensing nozzles. Inspection made with the dispenser with refer to Section 72 with the dispenser nozzles and Section made with the requirement of the dispenser hose nozzle with Section 73 the dispenser hoses. With an inspection made with the requirement of the dispenser hoses, refer to Section 7.4 with breakaways. Inspection made with the requirement of the dispenser hose breakaways. For Section 7.5 of the inspection made with the requirement of the dispenser hose swivels. For Section 7.8 with the dispenser meter of the inspection made with the requirement of the dispenser meter. 7.9 with the dispenser filters. Inspection made with the dispenser filters. 7.10 dispenser strainer for the inspection made with the requirement of the dispenser strainers. 7.12 with the emergency shot valve with the inspection made with the requirements of the emergency shot valves installed with the petroleum fuel supply line with the base dispensers. Refer to Section 7.15 dispenser pump. Inspection made with the requirement of the dispenser pumps. Alright, 5-7, offshore mooring system. Offshore mooring design with the corner for the UFC 4-15903. Design with the mooring and located with the navigable ship lane with the necessary anchors suitable for the holding of the specific capacity for the marine tankers. Typically single steel pipeline with the naked with the shore petroleum fuel storage system extend with the underwater shore area of the mooring of the pipeline and the handle with all the petroleum fuel product with the underwater petroleum fuel hose with the water pipeline. The pipeline provided with a flexible connection marine tanker with the floor the mooring anchors and shovel the marine tanker with the marked with the buoys, underwater patrol and fuel hose, equipped with a spool and piece with the chain with the marine tanker end with the chain with the connect with the marine marker buoy, use the lift up petroleum fuel hose with the sea bottom with the connection with the marine tanker, inspection maintenance, offshore mooring system of the focus of the buoy, coatings, anchor change, the catalytic protection system used to protect the anchors, change require routine inspection replacement and sacrificial anodes. 571 single mooring system, single point mooring system. Single point mooring systems are mono buoys consist of the single buoy with the buoy is attached. Marine tanker to beams of the buoy line to the anchor chain with the ship that is free with the 360 degrees around with the buoy responds. Environmental loading conditions, whether the vane with the type of the mooring may use the riser with the non-riser buoy system. A diesel engine driven air compressor located with the interior of the buoy is purpose for the provide with the compressed air displacement and float sink the hoses. The product of the hoses are packed at all times either with the petroleum product of the water depending on the operational requirements. Inspection maintenance of single mooring system. You refer to the Navy Fact MO 124 mooring maintenance manual. Frequency of the inspection additional maintenance required with the mooring system required with the underwater inspection testing must be performed with experienced professional divers. Inspection if necessary, repair and play with the mooring of the hawser, the liners, and the deck with the hose and chain with the chain, stirrup with the flange, adapt with the gasket of the gears used in inspection. Marine tanker the connection hoses, frequency monthly inspection, air compressor of the proper operation, inspection annually, inspection and navigation aids of the mooring board, and corporate the Navy Fact MO 124 mooring maintenance manual with the evidence of the damage possible to moving of the drag of the marine tanker with the current winds, frequency annually. Diver that must conduct with the underwater inspection mooring chain with the shackle of the anchor, the attaching buoys of the bay of the harbor floors, frequency annually. Conducting overhaul of single point mooring buoys every 3 to 5 years. Single point mooring buoys must be brought to shore to repair these instances. Frequency every 5 years. Shows a single point mooring mooring system. Alright, 572, the multiple point mooring system. Multiple point mooring system designed used for the single ship that's secured with the bow with the stern of the line with the buoy shift the mooring is normally installed near the shoreline parallel to the direction of the water current outside of the normal navigation channel riser buoy system normally used with the type of the mooring with the inspection made with the multiple point mooring system for the Navy Fact MO 124 mooring maintenance manual with the frequency of the inspection additional maintenance of the required for the mooring system where underwater inspection testing must be performed with the experienced professional divers. Inspecting that serve the player to play for the mooring hawser over the line to the deck of the hose and chain with the top of the flange should adapt the gasket for the other deck of the gear for the inside of the mooring tanker connection underwater hose frequency monthly inspection navigation mooring birds and call for the Navy Fact MO 124 mooring maintenance manual for evident damage of the possible movement of the dragging by the marine tanker over the current winds frequency annually. Drivers must conduct with the underwater inspection mooring chain with the shackle of the anchors and attaching buoys to the bay and the harbor floors frequency annually. Submerged piping systems. Submerged piping systems connect the shore based on the petroleum fuel system. Moorings location for the marine tanker the hose, but typically install the connection from the submerged piping of the moored marine tanker. R581, inspection maintenance of the submerged pipeline. With required underwater inspection testing must be performed and experienced with a professional driver. Inspection water above the submerged pipeline with the seaward and the end of the telltale petroleum fuel slicks and indicating leakage of the pipe to underwater hose frequency weekly. If equipped electrically, check for the cathodic protection and rectify proper performance frequency 6 times each calendar year with the intervals not exceeding 2.5 months. Divers must be inspect with the submerged pipe with the hose for the time of the instant failure with the indication rapid aware of the part of the subject of the wave, the motion, abrasion. Ocean floor frequency semi-annually conduct an annual pipe test with the accordance with the energy with the petroleum fuel pipeline pressure testing guideline criteria with the testing requirements of marine pipelines regulated with the Title 33 Code Regulation 154-155, particularly 33 Code Regulation 156 for Section 170 frequency annually. Conduct cathodic production testing protected pipelines specified in the 921 cathodic protection at least once each calendar year intervals not exceed 15 months between the tests and consecutive years frequency annually. Alright, 5-9. Your boom rails are hydraulics and are mainly operated at the eve of the shore of the floating and the spill contamination boom at the eve of the surrounding marine barge of the tankers contain spills. Inspection maintenance boom rails visually and inspect hydraulic drive and hose connection for the leaks frequency quarterly. B. Grease bearings frequency quarterly. C. Inspect booms and sign of the corrosion. Inspect braking system and ensure for the good working order. System frequency quarterly. Inspect boom wearing, rips and tears, repair, replace, required, ensure, and containment of petroleum fuel in the event of spill frequency annually. And this page is intentionally left blank, and then I'm moving on to Chapter 6, Piping and Systems.